Hello students, I Ram Niwas, presently working as an assistant professor in the Faculty of Agricultural Sciences and Allied Industries at Rama University, Kanpur. Today in this lecture, we will explain the one numericals which is totally based on the fertilizers, because here this numericals is create the problems for students and also farmers, how to calculate the amount of fertilizers for respective areas and particularly crops. So in this lecture we will completely explain the this numericals which is totally based on the fertilizer. So I request to all you listen and also watch carefully. So now, and MOP means muriate of potash for 2 hectare areas of wheat field, if the application rate of the nitrogen and phosphorus means phosphorus pentoxide and potassium oxide are 150, 60, 40 kg per hectare respectively. So here firstly before calculation of this such types of numerical, we write the source of the fertilizers. Yes, so you are source of fertilizers are urea, secondly SSP means single superphosphate, and third is MOP means muriate of potash. We know that urea contain 46% nitrogen in the form of the amide. Secondly, SSP means single superphosphate, and it contain 16% P2O5 means phosphorus pentoxide, and this is a water soluble phosphatic fertilizers. And apart from the phosphorus, single superphosphate also contain 12% sulfur and 18 to 21% calcium. Third one is MOP. MOP means muriate of potash. This is a chloride based potassic fertilizer, and it contain about 60% K2O, and in runs or some books are written 58 to 62% K2O. So here farmers have 3 source of fertilizers, means for nitrogens is urea, and for phosphorus is SSP, and for K2O means potassium is MOP. Secondly is applied amount of the nutrient. Applied amount of nutrient, nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. Nitrogen is 150 kg per hectare, phosphorus is 60 kg per hectare, and potassium is 40 kg per hectare. And area is given 2 hectare, and crop is wheat. So firstly we calculate the amount of the urea. So we know that 46 kg nitrogen obtained from the 100 kg ureas. So 1 kg nitrogen obtained from this 100 divided by 46, and now we want to apply 150 kg nitrogen. So 150 kg nitrogen obtained from this value 100 into 150 and divided by 46, and finally we get the 326.09 kg urea for 1 hectares. Secondly, we calculate the amount of amount of SSP. Amount of SSP बोले तो single superphosphate. This is a phosphorus water solubilizing phosphatic fertilizers. We know that 16 kg P2O5 obtained from 100 kg SSP, इसलिए 1 kg P2O5 obtained from 100 divided 16. Now we want to apply phosphorus is 60 kg per hectare. So here the amount will be 60 kg P2O5 obtained from 100 divided 16 into 60, and finally get the amount of the single super phosphate is 375 kg per hectare. This amount of the final amount of the single superphosphate for 1 hectare areas. And lastly, we calculate the similarly amount of the muriate of potash, this amount. So, amount of MOP. MOP means muriate of potash. This is a chloride based potassic fertilizers. We know that 60 kg K2O obtained from 100 kg MOP and 1 kg K2O obtained from 100 divided 60. And now we want to apply 40 kg potassium, means 40 kg K2O. So 160 and multiplied 40, and finally the amount of the muriate of potash we will get 66.6 kg per hectare. So this is amount of the ureas, and this amount is single superphosphate, and this amount of the muriate of potash, and the urea's amount is the 326 kg per hectare, and single superphosphate 375 kg per hectare, and muriate of potash is 66.67 kg per hectare. So this amount is only for 1 hectare, but in numericals want to calculate for 2 hectare areas. So finally the values of the ureas and single superphosphate and muriate of potash we will multiply at the 2. So the amount of fertilizers will be required for 2 hectare areas, because in numericals, in our numericals the areas are given 2 hectare. So amount of urea and amount of single superphosphate and amount of MOP. Yes, here is the we calculate the 326.09 kg urea for 1 hectare, 326.09 for 1 hectare, and in our numerical the area are given 2 hectares. So here we multiplied the 2 hectare 2, and SSP is calculated 375 kg per hectare for 1 hectare areas, but finally we calculate the SSP for 2 hectare area, because the area are given in numerical 2 hectare. Similarly, potassium 66.67 multiplied by 2, and finally we will get the amount of the ureas and single superphosphate and muriate of potash for 2 hectare areas. So finally we multiply it, 18 and 12 4 1 5 3 6. So this amount of kg urea for 2 hectare areas. And similarly single super phosphate also multiplied 10 7 14 15 and 3 6 7 15. And similarly the muriate of potash also multiplied and kg में हो जाएगी मात्रा, यहाँ पे लिख देते हैं 4 3 3 and 3. Yes. Yes. So finally the amount of the, so here we will write result. Finally we can write result in such way that the amount of urea, SSP and MOP will be required for 2 hectare areas. Is 652.18 kg urea, SSP 750 kg and MOP 133.34 kg. So this is a final result and answer of the ureas and single super phosphate and muriate of potash. So I hope this lecture which is based on the fertilizer calculation be very effective for students in future. So lastly, thank you so much for watching and listening this video based on the fertilizer calculation. Thank you.